Welcome back to Making Money Matter, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Kerry Stevenson. I've asked him back, Truth Bomb Tony. Tony Locantro is from Alto Capital. He's been in the markets for a very long time. What you might not know about Tony, way back when he was a very young man, he was a police officer. So don't mess with Tony. That's all I'm going to say. And also, don't mess with dentists. Here's the thing. I can talk today, but yeah, I've been terrified for the last few days. Why? Well, a friend of mine said that I had to go back to the dentist, hadn't been for 5 years, finally bit the bullet, excuse the pun. So I'm talking a bit weird today because yesterday was 2 hours in the chair, bloody hurt, lots of needles, lots of fillings. I got great teeth, but don't do what I do. Go to the dentist, get your checkups, go and get them cleaned every now and again. Otherwise, it's going to cost you a lot of money and a lot of pain. Sorry, Tony, I just needed to get that out this morning because I'm still not speaking 100% because they completely numbed my face yesterday. I was dribbling.
Oh dear. Yeah, people tend to avoid the dentist like they avoid doing their tax returns if
Correct.
they owe. They owe. And I'm guilty of both. So I went to the dentist and it was pleasing to note he said you create a lot of saliva. So whilst I don't have Hollywood teeth, they're very good.
Okay.
And I'd suggest people that don't like flossing the old way, invest in a water pick.
Yeah, he told me that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to buy your wife something for Christmas, don't buy your wife an iron. Buy her a water pick and an air fryer. The
No,
other
no,
hand,
I'm going to interrupt him here, ladies and gentlemen. Say, don't buy her a water pick, an air fryer, or anything like that. Buy her some gold. Sorry, Tony, but gold's much better Christmas present.
well, true, but good dental hygiene can add years to your life. I'm lucky. Apparently, I create a lot of saliva, so I must dribble a lot. But yeah, I'm just finishing my pretty much a month of zero carbs. So I finished that on my birthday, which is the 18th of July. And all my mates at paddle are saying, "Oh, you've lost even more weight." And yeah, I have because what I've done is gone from a few carbs to zero, and it's easy to do this shit. Yeah, I look back on my days when I maxed out the home scales. I would have been 125 kilos. I uh, I got on today and I'm 86. Target 84, which I'll get there. And yeah, but big news in the carnivore world or
Before you
anyone.
go on to Carnival
Yeah,
World, I'm just going to let people know as well. You were 125. I was 93, which I thought was okay, but it's not. I'm now 64 and my target 60. Now, how did I do it? I've cut right back on carbs. Actually, for some reason for me, they trigger the hunger hormone. If I don't eat carbs, I don't feel hungry. The second I have bread or pasta or any of those sorts of things, I start to get hungry. It's really weird. So this morning for breakfast, bit of smoked salmon and a bit of avocado. That's it. That'll keep me going for ages. And the other thing is, I was at the gym this morning, Tony, and I asked them, I said, when did I join? I joined at the start of the financial year last year, 30th of June last year. And ladies and gentlemen, consistency is key. I go every single day. So I've been this morning, smashed it out, and boy, do I feel a lot better. But back to you and carnival. I mean,
yeah,
sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we will get to the markets, but do you know what? If you don't have your health, you're not going to have your wealth. So let's start with health, then get on to wealth.
yeah, big news in our world. There's a new documentary out called Animal with the dot after it. Those with Apple TV, you can buy or rent it. But to me, it just sums up why I've gone carnivore, how it works, how people doing it are reversing diseases. Carbs are sugar. We've been told to eat all this breakfast cereal. Actually, the biggest piss take is when they talk about the Seventh Day Adventist Church and Dr. Kellogg.
Ah.
So it's hilarious. And I think people should watch it, and they'll know that this breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and you must eat cornflakes. It's an absolute complete crock. And what you should do is have protein and stick with that. So
And I
I
think
thought,
also, Tony, I think that's why a lot of the next generation, the kids of today, that's what they have for breakfast. They have cereal. Some of them put sugar on it. And you're right, sugar is detrimental to our health. It's actually, it increases the chances of the big C, the cancer, and cancer feeds on sugar. So you have to understand that sugar is actually the worst thing for our bodies, but it's in everything from McDonald's hamburgers to Kentucky Fried Chicken. It doesn't matter what you have, unless you're eating clean and you know what you're putting in your body. Most of it has got sugar in it.
well, it's those two magic words, and it's not Anacott Steel. It's this guy called Ansel Keys and the Seventh Day Adventist. So Ansel put out a bullshit study, and then fat was the culprit. So they've pretty much got health totally wrong, and that's why we're getting fatter, slower, and dumber, and our brains are shrinking. So it is the documentary I think most should watch, because you make a very pertinent point, is that when you're healthy, you have hundreds of problems. But when you're unhealthy, you only have one. And I make it my mantra to be a, a stockbroker who's present, can answer the phone, get through a conversation, and when the whips are cracking, I'm mentally there, and that's it. Every person in my office is my competition.
Tony,
So
what was the catalyst that made you go from a broker weighing 125 kilos, probably drinking most days? Because I
yeah,
remember back in the day, you loved to have a drink, to
yeah.
somebody that said, you know what, time's up. I'm going to really change what I'm doing.
Oh, it's just New Year's Eve 2022, and I was drinking lower calorie bubbles, and I thought, why not take a month off drinking? And I haven't had a drink since. So I'm coming up to 3 years. Do I miss it? No. The only part I miss is when I'm at a conference, it's hard to get a sparkling water. They don't bring them out straight away. That's it. And I also went in the MSWA lottery here in WA, which, apart from small cap stocks, is your best chance of becoming a millionaire. And I actually won
What's
it.
the MSWA? What is it?
Oh, it's a lottery they run every year here in WA, where you've got about a 1 in 250,000 chance of becoming a millionaire. And I actually won a dinner box subscription. So that was going really well because I was reducing my calories, but that did come stacked with rice, which is brown rice, white rice, all rice is evil. And then that started the kick. And then I did a bit of research, and I thought, no, stuff it. Why don't I become addicted to becoming healthy instead of going out and getting pissed with people I don't like anyway, being unfit? So it's bloody awesome. And the other thing I can highly recommend to people is take up paddle. Uh, so I play paddle 4 or 5 times a week. I'm addicted. Actually, I had a bit of a laugh. I'm the 75th ranked player in WA. That's how young the sport is. That's how young it is. But I just fear that once people catch on to this, it's going to explode like it's exploding all over the world. And what's been happening with paddle is I've been picking up clients along the way also. So I'm living the life, and the sober healthy way is the way to go, Kerry. And people can complain and they can say, "Well, you're wrong." Well, I'm the human guinea pig, and so far so good. And yeah,
Look,
get a couple of
a lot of people won't like it, Tony, because you're putting them out of their comfort zone. Now, you're completely off the alcohol, and
yeah.
I commend you for that. For me, I'm not completely off the alcohol because I do like it from time to time. But for me, I don't drink on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then if I'm at home, don't drink a Thursday. And sometimes I just go, I still don't feel like a drink. So sometimes I'll have a drink. I'm not saying never, but I've certainly cut back from always having a glass of wine in my hand, even when, I'm home alone in front of the computer working late at night. So I think for me, everything in moderation, except for the gym, which is a non-negotiable, because consistency is key. And that's where the changes have come for me. But I can't believe it's only been a year since I've been going to Milan, but that was Milan. But shout out to my friend Dina Matty. It was Dina, and she's a fabulous girl that I know here on the Gold Coast. And when I was at my heaviest, I said, "Oh, I think I'm beyond help, Dina." And she's from England, sort of the East End, an East Ender of from England. And she said, "Nah, I can fix that." I'm like, oh, I don't think so. Anyway, she took me on as a challenge. That's what got me started. And then Milan Gym here on the Gold Coast, best gym on the Gold Coast, ladies and gentlemen, has kept me going. So let's move on, if you like, Tony, because I don't want to spend all our time talking about health is wealth, but it is important, ladies and gentlemen. We start off with the dentist, but as you get older, just make sure, it's like maintaining your car. Make sure you get a good service for your body. All right, Tony.
Yeah.
Start of the financial year. I recently did, I think it was a couple of days ago, an interview with Ian Bamborough from Saturn Metals. That's had a really good lot of people liking what we did. Saturn is turning into something which we didn't think it would. He keeps finding better and better, I guess, grades, larger, and plenty more to come.
Oh, from the outset, it felt like a mini Capricorn. So I helped take out a US fund that sold at 18 cents. And the amount that's probably since 2007, that was my best stockbroking. I just got on the phone. I was on the phone for a couple of days. I think I wrote about 83 tickets. So going back to my police days. And we got all the stock. And yeah, so we're set at 18. Then he did an SPP at 21 and a half, and everyone got what they asked for. And I just had to laugh. My phone rang last night and it was Ian, and he was saying, "Well, how would you like to come up to site on the 18th of July?" And I said, "Well, it's my birthday and Juliana's preparing a surprise for me, but we had a little chat last night, so I'm going to go to site and get a feel for how big this monster could be."
Okay.
But unfortunately, in the gold industry now, it's cheaper to buy ounces than it is to drill them and develop. So I am worried about a takeover at some point. But heap leach, maybe that's like having, being really hot and having no personality. So no one will go near you for a bit. So yeah, looking forward to the site visit.
Well, we'll get you back on. We'll get you back on after that site visit, just to maybe just do a short summary of what you saw and what you like up there. We won't do the whole thing. We'll just go.
Oh, hell no. Because we're set early, and I'm certainly not going to recommend that we sell. But all clients are different. Some might be happy with 18 to 40 cents. I know my clients in Spartan were happy. I know, and you've got to realize is that all these small stocks are cyclical.
Absolutely.
So you could look at a stock like 10 years ago, like Red Metal, 10, 15 years ago. I actually went back. I had this newsletter called TFIF. People can work that out for themselves. And I look back at my valuation bars, and there's Northern Star sitting there at 6.8, Ramilius in the 40s, and Atlantic Gold at 4 cents. That did nothing. That was an embarrassment. They went to Canada and St. Barbara took them over. And this is in 2010. And yes, I was supporting Red Metal, but you don't buy a junior explorer and stick your head in the sand. They are cyclical because a small cap explorer will run like Red Metal has, from 9 cents to 52, back to 3 cents, back to 25. And now it's up to me to say to clients, well, this is where we buy it and this is where we sell it. And at some point, if it makes a huge discovery, another one, then it will bust through. But a lot of these junior explorers, you can't say, oh, this stock's done nothing for these years, because you look at the ranges. You look at the trading ranges, Kerry, and I now ignore all the trolls who
Oh,
online. Oh, I just mute.
trolls.
I
Oh,
mute them. I mute them. And I'm thinking, what's the point? What's the point? Yes, I put stock tips out in the most hideous market for the last 3.5 years.
yeah.
But behind the scenes, this financial year, this is my goal, is to try and get every client in the best possible shape that will listen to me.
Okay, that's good to know. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, for the trolls out there that might be listening to this, and I've had a couple come back to me and say,
Oh, Kerry.
you told me to. No, I didn't. This is not financial advice. As Rick Rule always says, you need to do your own research. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this end of the market is very speculative. Stocks can go up, stocks can go down. You can lose everything. But here's the thing, most of you don't do the research. You don't know what you're doing. You hear from the barbecue mafia that XYZ stock is the stock of the day, and off you go. Most managing directors will tell, that they'll talk it up, that within reason. They've got to be careful about what they say, but it's up to you, not up to us to tell you what to buy. We're not here telling you what to buy. Tony is saying what he's putting his clients into.
Yeah.
But that isn't to say that they will definitely be a winner. Here's the thing. A lot of the time, say you've got 10 stocks, you'll probably have maybe 1 to 2 winners out of those 10 stocks. And that's why, and I say this to people as well, Tony, I say, look, I don't tell you to sell your house and your children and go all in gold, whether that's gold stocks or physical gold or any other metal for that matter, whether it be sulfide nickel, which Rick Rule is loving at the moment, whether it be rare earths. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're in this area of the market, it is speculative, but it's up to you to do the research. Rant over, but that's where I want the trolls to stop, because you're not doing the research and you're just having a go where you can with no absolute understanding of what we do. There we go.
I've had, obviously, throughout my career, I can raise money for Northern Star at 5 cents. I raised a heap of money for Ramilius. You can have red-headed stepchildren, and
bad you for the red-headed. I'm a bit of I'm strawberry blonde.
Well, let's face it. The key to being an advertising success in Australia is to have red hair, because you see all the people with red hair tend to be on ads. So it's an advantage. But one of my biotechs, Narada, it had a LDL cholesterol drug that failed its last toxicity test, went from essentially a 20 cent IPO to 1.9 cents. Now they're 25 on a brain injury drug. And suddenly I've got more clients in the game. But I don't want to pick a stock you don't want to pick a stock that's going to collapse. But in this market, companies struggle to raise money, and they went to people who are not long-term supporters. Yeah. So those that wouldn't normally get a look in these stocks got involved. And once you're in a downtrend, once you're hated, it's hard to get out of that. So a few times, yes, clinical trials and drilling programs will fail, or you could get into probably the worst market I've seen over 3 years back, one after the other. It was horrible. So I've got to now work with, I look at a client's portfolio, I click the percentage of the portfolio and I say, look, you've got a great top order. yes, we've got a few red-headed stepchildren that either are going to make a comeback or may provide you with a tax write-off this year. So yes, but it's frustrating when companies fundamentally are going well, but the share price doesn't move. But that's life in small cap stocks. And
Exactly.
and I've been doing this coming up to 27 years now, and I have a very good feel on the psychology. And most speculators just want to be told a stock that goes up. That's all they care about. If
Correct.
they buy a stock at 20 cents and it goes up to 22, that's probably the worst thing that could happen to them, rather than to have the stock halve, then go to 40. Because, and I've heard it all. I can look at my phone and I know who's ringing, I know the question. There's so much that goes on in the background.
And
So much.
I agree. There's a couple of things I want to ask you about if we could. Because one of the things Rick Rule, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm off to the Rick Rule conference this weekend. I'll be bringing you some content from over there. I'll be doing some lives. I'll be doing some content over there with some fabulous speakers like Rick Rule himself. So watch this space. But where was I going with this? You talked about Narada. I just want to talk to you specifically, if I could, about biotech, which has been smashed. And I had a comment from someone, another troll, but are you still following Imugene? Because they've been smashed and crashed and all sorts of things. Have you followed them at all, IMU? If you haven't, don't worry.
Well, okay. I met with Leslie a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, she came and saw me. I've never made it a recommendation.
Okay.
Juliana, my wife's sister, has breast cancer and she's in Hungary.
Right.
So I reached out to Leslie Chong and just asked, well, what could we do to improve her chances of living? So Leslie helped me. One of the rare people in the industry that more than generous.
Oh, 100%. Yep. She did the same for a
And
friend of mine. Yep. She's a beautiful one.
yeah. So we sat. She came to Perth. I always catch up with her. She told me this story. I mean, it's terrible that the first time I met Leslie, the stock was 1.5 cents. It went to 62 cents. So Imugene became a $3 billion company. Now they're doing a capital crunch. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the number. I think it might be 1 for 34. Maybe, correct me if I'm wrong.
Ouch.
And that stock has been absolutely poleaxed. And Leslie said that she didn't sell a share. So even when the company went to $3 billion. So she's more about being a drug developer. And then sometimes you've got to rely on equity markets. You've got to rely on sentiment. As Dennis Denuto will say, it's all about the vibe.
Yeah. Very true.
So yes, I do have some red-headed stepchildren in the biotech space that I've got to do a lot of work on, that I'd like to drag through this terrible period, but certainly am watching Imugene. And what happens with a lot of stocks, guys, is in any space, is they turn into a cult. And by that, you get people that will gather on social media, that you'll have your trolls, you'll have your cheerleaders, and then they'll start having dollar parties, $5 parties. And then suddenly, when the share price starts going the wrong way, they'll try and put themselves on board. But the thing is that what drives a lot of companies to stupid valuations is the fact that dumb money just seems to have no end.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm loathed coming into what I'm considering a small cap bull market. We're in it. That my greatest risk now is selling too early. because
Interesting. So why do you say we're coming into a small caps bull market? What's changing?
okay, it only takes a couple of stocks to have a run. And then clients will say, well, I want to buy something else. It only takes a few things to have a real crack. And then, I mean, if I multiply my clients that might want to buy another few stocks, but I'm noticing now that things are certainly bubbling up. Money's getting easier to raise. And the one thing that happens in every bloody bull market is clients start to lose respect for money.
Yeah.
They take their eye off their portfolio. They they won't sell something at 5 or 6 times. They want 10 times, and they want to put it on at that price. I have a saying with one client, you're always a bridge too far.
Yeah, and Tony, I remember you telling me about a certain stock ages ago, and it was doing really well, and I was up over 10 times. First thing you said to me, and it was in the early days of us really chatting this, and you said, I'll never forget it. You said, Kerry, you never go broke taking a profit. Please, 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 can you sell some? And I was like, no, 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 Tony, it's going to $5. Well, this stock was, I think when you and I spoke, it was about $2. I ended up selling at 17 cents after taking the options at 75. So, ladies and gentlemen, what Tony's saying is absolutely true. You don't go broke taking a profit, but some people just go, no, like me in the early days, you've got to be smarter. And some of you will think, oh, Tony's only saying that because he wants the brokerage fee. No, he's doing that because he wants to protect what you've got so that you can create a better, stronger relationship going forward. And you can play longer in the sandpit. Would that be correct?
Oh, absolutely. And what I've done when I find something that feels like another Spartan, Ramilius, Northern Star, could go on forever about the out and out home runs we've hit. I'm going to tell clients now, put it away, forget about it. I had people doing charts would tell me that this stock's going to fall, and I said, well, okay. It might fall a few cents, but then you're going to chop off a couple of dollars upside.
Yeah.
And that's why now, when I find something that feels that good, that looks that good, like Saturn, I'm not saying Saturn's going to be a winner from 40 cents, but geez, we're going to protect that holding.
Yeah.
And now Oryaman have come in. Now they're in discussions with Brightstar to merge.
Yep.
I think Oryaman was a high flyer that became it became the leader of the Red-Headed Stepchildren Brigade. But now the assets are being recognised, and Brightstar, they're in merger discussions. So hopefully that pans out, and that could lead to further upside, further M&A activity. I've actually found a couple of new stocks, and what I'm doing is ringing clients, and I'll tell them about it. I like buying on the back foot.
Yeah.
And back foot means I need to tiptoe through the tulips with my buying. I don't want to drive the price higher.
No.
Regardless of what anyone says online, I would not know how to pump and dump a stock. And that's it. End of story. I just want to get my clients set low. And then when we're selling a stock, there's no way known to man I'm going to mention it.
No.
Why the hell would I do that? Why would I risk my friggin' 27-year career to make a bit of money? Fucking what do people think I am? Do you think I live this bloody la-di-da lifestyle? All I want to do is eat meat and play bloody paddle, Kerry.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
That's all I want to do. I don't give a shit. I've got my $17 watch. My kids call me Timu Tony now.
Timu Tony. Well,
I don't give a flying.
I've got my Apple Watch, which my friend has told me is the worst thing in the world because of all the the emitters that go into your skin, that sort of stuff. So she's begging me to get it off my wrist, and it is all about the quality of life. But Tony, give us. I love sometimes to do this. I haven't done this to you before. I don't think, Give me three reasons or three things, not reasons, three things that people should be doing as we head into this current financial year, as I talked to you on the 3rd of July.
Honestly, look at your portfolio and rank them, and treat your portfolio like a cricket team.
I like that.
But the problem is the Australian top four aren't performing. So top four batsmen. Uh, Look at now. I can grade a company on quality. So that's my IP to my clients, where I can say this Explorer, red medal, something like Talisman, well, Saturn, even though it's done really well. We do have even Everest. We do have diversified explorers that are high quality, and that should form the backbone of your portfolio.
Okay.
The second thing people can do is get your dopamine elsewhere. Okay? Don't rely on checking your stocks every minute on your phone. I mean, I'm not going to recommend taking up gambling because in the end you just want a reward. Take up exercise or sport. I get my dopamine rush from, obviously it's going to be a discovery, writing a lot of tickets, but I get my dopamine from paddle, and that's it. That's it. Get it from elsewhere. Get it from life. Get it from your partner if you still like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of youth these days, the younger gen, get it from Tinder. That's just an addiction. It's not that they're gonna go on all these dates. Go to the gym. Just get it from elsewhere, and realize that if you've got that gambling mentality for specs, in the end you're gonna lose. You're gonna have some big wins, but you're gonna give it all back. And now's the perfect time to look at all the money maybe going out, look at all your subscriptions. That's where they get us. Companies get us through inaction.
Yes.
And I think now's the time really is there's a lot of quality juniors that are still cheap. You need to back yourself. You need to realize that the people, if you're in a good company, there's no evil forces at play. Those running them want to be noticed. That's why they go to conferences. As well, get on the bloody conference circuit. Go talk to the companies. Go to your conferences, Kerry. Unfortunately, I won't make Crown, but I'll certainly be there on the Gold Coast. And just do
Gold Coast
things.
one's going to be a ripper. Just before I go into that, what's number three? You did number one, number two, number third.
Oh, geez, I've probably raved on a bit.
Okay, that'll do. I'll let you off the hook.
Yeah, thanks, Kerry. And again, I'm slowly getting my way. The good thing about my business is that when things are quiet, people don't want to join. People don't want to become a client. So I do have an email list. If you go to tonylocantro.com and register, I'll send out the odd email.
And his emails are good, ladies and gentlemen. They're quite good.
I'll send the odd client update. I'm working my way through just a handful of people that are inquiring about becoming a client. So
okay, good.
But at the top of the market, I don't want to sign anyone on because they're a bad client for life. And I could write a movie, not Bad Boys. I could write Bad Client for Life. Get involved at the bottom. Get involved when no one else wants to buy.
Yeah, be a contrarian. Don't follow the pack, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Locantro, it's been always good to talk to you. Tony mentioned the Sydney event, which is at Crown. We have just announced a special rate to stay at Crown, which is a cracker of a rate. The Australian Gold Conference will be held at Crown from the 13th to the 15th of October. And for those of you out there that say gold has had its run, you just have to have a look at what the central banks are doing. They are buying more precious metals, specifically gold, than they have done in history. And most of them are saying that they will continue to do that. You need to follow the money, what is going on. And what is going on with banks at the moment, this fiscal irresponsibility, as I call it, all of them have made promises that they can't fulfill unless they open up the printing press, and that's the printing press for currency. There is going to be more liquidity coming into this market as the dollars keep getting printed. And it doesn't matter whether it's US dollars, the yuan, the yen, the Australian dollar, the liquidity that will be coming in. Could there be little pullbacks along the way? Absolutely. But there is no denying that there is going to be more currency and therefore, in my opinion, more liquidity coming in. But along with that, I think that precious metals, we're just getting started with this gold bull run, this precious metals bull run. I want you to have a look at platinum. I want you to have a look at silver. I want you to have a look at gold. I also want you to go to goldevents.com.au. Right now, we've put the price up a fraction, but it will be going up come August. So now's the time to get in and get your tickets. 13th to the 15th. I'm telling you, we've got an absolutely packed schedule. And the Gold Coast Gold event that Tony spoke about, that will be March 25, 26 here at QT Hotel on the Gold Coast. Hoping that Cyclone Alfred doesn't come back and rear its ugly head again like it did this year. But all being well, that's where we'll be next year. But for now, as my friend Tim Manger always says, ladies and gentlemen, make good choices, put your trolley back, and just be a good human. Tony Locantro, thanks so much for joining me today on Making Money Matter. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. I want to build this channel and I need your help. Thanks for joining us.